Imagine waking up each morning with a quiet certainty humming in your heart, a confidence that everything, absolutely everything, is moving in your favor. Not because you can see it yet, not because the evidence has shown up, but because you decide it is so. That single shift, that inner choice, is where your power begins. It's where your world starts to take shape from the inside out. There is a kind of magic that appears when you dare to believe that life is conspiring with you, not against you. When you carry yourself as if your desires are already on their way, doors open that once seemed locked, paths clear that once felt tangled, the atmosphere around you changes, and your experience changes with it. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the spiritual law that what you assume to be true becomes your world. You felt it before. Think back to a time when you just knew something good was going to happen. Maybe it was a job interview, an exam, a conversation you were nervous about, and yet somehow you were calm. You chose confidence, you chose belief, and the outcome matched the feeling you carried. That is no coincidence. That is creation. That is you aligning with the unseen currents of grace that are always waiting for your recognition. There is a wisdom that whispers. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This means your belief is not a reaction to what exists. It is the force that shapes what will exist. The unseen reality within you is more powerful than the visible world around you. It is the seed, and your life is the harvest. When you live as though everything is working in your favor, you begin to notice opportunities you previously overlooked. You take inspired actions you once hesitated to take. You speak with more warmth, listen with more openness, walk with more presence. Your energy becomes magnetic, and life responds to that energy just as surely as a seed responds to sunlight. This is what it means to call things that are not as though they were. It means you dare to embody the state of having what you desire before any evidence appears. It means you walk as the version of yourself that already received the blessing, already solved the problem, already stepped into abundance. You begin to think the thoughts, speak the words, and feel the feelings of your fulfilled self, and the outer world rearranges to match your inner knowing. You are never manifesting something out there. You are manifesting from within. You do not chase, you attract by the simple law that what you occupy in consciousness must express itself in your world. Your assumption is your prayer. Your belief is your permission slip. Your imagination is your creative workshop. Imagine a gardener planting seeds. He does not question whether the seed will grow. He does not dig it up every few days to check. He does not panic because nothing has sprouted yet. He holds a quiet assurance because he knows the process is unfolding even when he cannot see it. He waters, nurtures, and waits with expectation. That is the posture of manifestation. Quiet trust, loving expectancy, steady inner alignment. The moment you assume that everything is working out for you, truly assume it, your inner climate shifts. Fear loosens, anxiety fades, worry releases its grip. You begin to breathe differently. You begin to notice the universe speaking to you in subtle confirmations. You interpret challenges not as punishment, but as positioning. You see delays not as denial, but divine timing. You no longer walk with the heaviness of someone trying to force life. You dissolve into the flow of someone who knows they are supported. You were never meant to struggle your way into your blessings. You were meant to align with them, to become the vibrational match, to live from the state of the wish fulfilled. When you imagine having it, you are not pretending. You are creating the spiritual prototype from which your physical reality will draw its form. Emotion is the electricity. Imagination is the blueprint. Faith is the power that brings it into the material world. Sometimes life tests your assumption. It asks, will you still believe when nothing is happening? This is the sacred moment, the space where miracles are born. Anyone can celebrate once the blessing arrives, but the real power lies in the one who celebrates before the blessing appears, the one who walks in gratitude for a future that already exists in the invisible realm, the one who refuses to let appearances dictate their faith. When situations arise that look the opposite of what you desire, remind yourself, appearances are not the truth. They are old manifestations, echoes of past assumptions. Your new state, your new belief is already shaping the next wave of your reality. Hold the assumption. Live from the end. Claim the feeling of the answered prayer. This is how you step into authority over your life. You are not small. You are not powerless. You are not waiting on permission from the world to become who you desire to be. Everything begins with your inner atmosphere, your inner conversations, your self-concept, your dominant assumptions. What you repeatedly claim within yourself becomes the script your life follows. When you tell yourself everything is working in my favor, you activate a new path of least resistance. Suddenly the right people arrive. Unexpected opportunities find you. Synchronicities multiply. What was once difficult becomes effortless. Life begins to feel like a partnership instead of a battle. This is not delusion, this is spiritual law. You are designed to create from belief. You are designed to manifest from imagination. You are designed to walk in faith, not fear. When you live as though everything is unfolding for your highest good, you shift into a frequency of harmony. You resonate with the reality you desire, and it becomes compelled to reveal itself to you. Think of the dreams you hold in your heart, quietly, secretly, maybe even timidly. They are not random. They are not fantasies. They are inner callings from the version of you that already lives them. Your desire is the sign that the fulfillment is possible. The feeling of longing is the bridge between who you are now and who you are becoming. When you imagine the life you want, do it with affection. Speak to yourself gently. Encourage your dreams the way you would encourage a child learning to walk. Don't criticize the delay. Don't punish yourself for doubting. Just return again and again to the inner truth. Life is rising to meet you. Every moment is shaping you for the blessing that's already yours in consciousness. When things feel uncertain, whisper to yourself, I am guided. When things feel slow, remind yourself something beautiful is unfolding for me. When you face a setback, affirm, this too is working in my favor. Because it is, even when you can't see how, even when the picture looks incomplete, even when the path feels confusing. The unseen realm is always arranging the intricate details of your life in ways that will astonish you. You are not manifesting alone. The universe responds to your faith the way soil responds to a seed. It multiplies it, expands it, brings it into form. Your job is simply to believe, to occupy the inner state of fulfillment so completely that the outer world has no choice but to echo it back. So walk with the calm confidence that everything is tilting in your favor. Speak with the assurance that your desires are already finding their way to you. Think from the position of the version of you who already succeeded. And trust that what you imagine with love, faith, and persistence must come to light. You are the creator of your inner world, and your inner world creates your outer world. Live like everything is working in your favor, because when you decide it is, the universe rises to agree with you, and allow yourself to rest in the feeling that you don't have to know how it will happen. Your only task is to hold the inner atmosphere of certainty. When a gardener plants a seed, he doesn't stand over the soil demanding an explanation for every part of the process. He simply trusts the invisible growth. In the same way, your manifestation unfolds in layers, quietly and faithfully, beneath the surface of your awareness. Something is always happening for you, even when it looks still. When you shift into this inner assurance, your imagination becomes a sacred sanctuary, a place where you rehearse the life you are stepping into. Picture yourself waking up in the reality you desire. Feel the peace in your body. Hear the sounds of your new life. Look around in your inner world and see the evidence of your answered desires. This simple act is not fantasy. It is creative power. Your imagination is the first stage of creation, the hidden workshop where your future is crafted. Many people move through life reacting to what they see, allowing circumstances to dictate their emotional climate, but you are being invited into a higher way of living, a life where you respond not to the outer world, but to your inner truth, where you allow your imagination, not your fears, to become the compass, where you walk by faith, guided by the unseen reality that is already forming on your behalf. And when old doubts surface, as they occasionally do, you don't need to battle them. You simply return to your inner knowing. You breathe deeply. You remind yourself that what you assume to be true must appear. You gently shift your focus back to the version of yourself who already has what you seek. You let the feeling settle in your chest, warm and familiar, like you're remembering something instead of creating. There is a profound strength in gentleness, a quiet power in resting your mind. on the idea that life is bending toward your good. This is not passivity. This is inner mastery. This is choosing to align with the truth that your desires are not random, they are invitations. They are signals from the future self that is calling you forward. When you treat them as promises rather than possibilities, something within you unlocks. And as you continue to walk in this confidence, you begin to see small signs, little confirmations that you are on the right path. Someone says something that feels like a message. A situation shifts suddenly in your favor. A new idea drops into your mind at the perfect moment. These are not coincidences. These are reflections of your new state of being. They are the first sprouting of the seed you planted in imagination. The more you assume life is working out for you, the more life rearranges to match that assumption. You may notice your interactions become smoother. You may feel more grounded, more guided, more supported. Challenges arise, yes, but they feel different now. They feel purposeful, almost as though they are part of a higher design, because they are. When you hold the assumption of favor, even the obstacles become instruments of your unfolding. It becomes easier to bless what comes and bless what goes. Easier to trust that nothing is happening to you. Everything is happening for you. Even what seems like a delay may be a gentle redirection. Even what seems like a loss may be clearing space for something better. When you live from the inner conviction that you are being led, you stop resisting the flow. You start listening. You start recognizing the subtle ways the universe is guiding you toward what is yours. Each day becomes a practice in remembering who you truly are. A creator, a vessel of divine imagination, a being capable of shaping reality through assumption, attention, and faith. You begin to talk to yourself differently. You say things like, I know something wonderful is on its way, or everything is unfolding perfectly, or I trust the timing of my life. And as you repeat these inner truths, they begin to take root. They begin to feel natural. They begin to transform you. And you may notice that the more natural these assumptions feel, the faster things begin to shift in your outer world. People treat you differently. Opportunities arise seemingly out of nowhere. Solutions to problems appear without effort. What once felt heavy now feels light. What once felt far away now feels close. So close you can sense it, breathe it, lean into it. This is the momentum that builds when you decide to live as though everything is working in your favor. You are no longer trying to create from a place of lack. You are no longer fighting against your reality. You are moving with it, shaping it gently from within, trusting that every desire has a corresponding path already carved out for you. Your imagination becomes your sanctuary. Your assumption becomes your anchor. Your faith becomes your compass. And your life becomes a reflection of the inner ease you cultivate each day. And as you continue to nurture this way of being, you start to notice that your inner world becomes more important than anything external. You begin to value how you feel, how you think, how you imagine, because you finally see that this is where your true power lives. The outer world stops feeling intimidating because you realize it is only a mirror, a reflection, an echo of the state you occupy within yourself. So you choose your inner state with more intention. When a negative thought tries to creep in, you gently soften it, not with force, but with awareness. You remind yourself, this thought is not who I am. This is just an old pattern. I choose something new. And in that moment, you shift your destiny. You step into a different timeline. You claim a new outcome, not by effort, but by decision. You begin to treat your imagination like sacred ground. You no longer allow fear to wander freely there. Instead, you fill it with visions of peace, abundance, love, and fulfillment. You rehearse the conversations you want to have. You feel the joy of the experiences you desire. You let your heart expand into the reality that is calling you. And each time you do, you strengthen the bridge between your inner world and your outer manifestation. There is a beautiful truth that what you consent to internally must appear externally. When you consent to the idea that you are favored, life becomes generous with you. When you consent to the belief that opportunities flow to you, you become a magnet for possibility. When you consent to the feeling that you are guided, you begin to walk with an effortless sense of direction. It is all connected. It all begins with permission, inner permission. And as you keep giving yourself permission to expect good, to expect blessings, to expect breakthroughs, something magnificent begins to happen. Life softens. It greets you differently. It unfolds more gently. It reveals pathways you never saw before. You feel held, supported, aligned. You stop bracing for disappointment because you realize you are not living in a hostile universe. You are living in a responsive one. And the more you experience this responsiveness, the more your confidence grows. You start speaking your desires with more boldness. You start imagining them with more clarity. You start claiming them with more conviction. Your inner posture shifts from hoping to knowing, from wishing to assuming, from longing to receiving. This shift is powerful because the moment you assume something to be true, the universe begins to rearrange itself to prove you right. If you assume things are falling apart, you will find evidence of chaos. But if you assume life is aligning beautifully for you, you will find evidence of grace everywhere you look. Your assumption becomes the lens through which you see, and what you see becomes your reality, and so you practice living in the end. Not just thinking about the outcome you desire, but feeling it, breathing it, being it. You let the feeling saturate your being. You let it guide your actions. You let it inspire your choices. You let it become your natural state. And the more natural it feels within, the sooner it will crystallize without. Even when the outer world seems unchanged, your inner world is already shifting. Even when nothing appears different, the unseen is already rearranging. Invisible threads are moving. Unexpected alignments are forming. Answers are preparing their way to you. And because you trust this process, you walk with ease. You move with grace. You carry yourself like someone who knows that everything is unfolding perfectly. Even when you can't see the full picture yet, this inner confidence does not make you arrogant. It makes you peaceful. It makes you grounded. It makes you radiant. People may not know why, but they feel something different about you. They sense your certainty. They notice your calm. They feel your quiet assurance that life is on your side. And this energy, this peaceful confidence, draws even more goodness toward you. You become a living testimony of what it looks like to believe before you see, to trust before it manifests, to walk as though what you desire is already yours. And life in turn rises to meet your belief. And the more you embody this state, the more natural it becomes to treat every moment, no matter how ordinary, as part of your unfolding. You begin to recognize that even the simple things carry meaning. A gentle thought that floats into your mind, a conversation that leaves you inspired, a quiet nudge that urges you in a certain direction. These become signals guiding you toward your manifestation. You may find yourself drawn to new ideas, new places, new people, almost effortlessly. Not because you are forcing anything, but because your inner state is leading you. When you assume that everything is working in your favor, your intuition sharpens. You hear the soft whispers of guidance more clearly. You notice the inner nudges that say, yes, this way, or not that direction. You trust the feeling more because you recognize that you are connected to something wiser and larger than your conscious mind. And with this trust, you stop needing to control every detail. You stop micromanaging the universe. You stop overthinking every step. Instead, you lean into flow. You follow the path that feels aligned. You let inspiration guide your actions instead of anxiety. You understand that the right opportunities will come not through force, but through alignment with your inner knowing. And this alignment brings peace, deep, sustaining peace. The kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. The kind that comes from knowing that the invisible is more real than the visible. The kind that reminds you that your desire already exists in the unseen and is simply waiting for the right moment to emerge. This peace becomes your power. It becomes your stability. It becomes the foundation from which you create. When others panic, you breathe. When others worry, you trust. When others doubt, you return to your inner certainty. Because you understand that creation does not happen through tension. It happens through relaxation, through the soft but unwavering knowing that what you desire is already yours. And as you continue to practice this inner posture day after day, you start to witness the subtle shift in your entire worldview. You no longer question whether you are worthy. You no longer wonder if the universe is listening. You no longer fear that life might pass you by. Instead, you claim your place in the flow of abundance. You claim your identity as someone who is favored, guided, and supported beyond measure. You begin to see that living as though everything is working in your favor is not pretending. It is perceiving truth. It is choosing to align with the deeper reality beneath appearances. It is choosing to walk in the faith that what is unseen is far more powerful than what is seen. And when you do, the scene begins to shift, bend, and transform to match your inner conviction. You find yourself quietly smiling more often, not because everything is perfect, but because you know it is becoming perfect. You know that each moment is part of a divine orchestration. You know that even the challenges contain hidden blessings. You know that you are moving towards something extraordinary, something that your heart has already glimpsed in your imagination. And this knowing becomes the atmosphere in which your life unfolds. And so, as you step forward from this moment, carry with you the unshakable truth that your life is not happening by accident. You are not drifting. You are not forgotten. Every breath you take is witnessed by a universe that longs to support you, uplift you, and conspire in your favor. Stand tall in the knowing that your assumptions hold power, your imagination shapes reality, and your faith lights the path before you. Choose from this day on to live as though everything is aligning for your highest good, because when you do, life cannot help but rise to meet you with blessings greater than you ever dared to expect. Walk in that power, walk in that love, walk in that certainty. Your manifestation is not a matter of if, but when, and that when moves closer with every new breath of belief you allow yourself to take.